Hello everyone, welcome back once again. So today's topic is we will implement a palindrome program. Now a palindrome program is a word or a digit which remains same when we read it from the left hand side or right hand side. For example, like we have the name that is Nitin. Now if you read it from the left hand side as Nitin or from the right hand side that is Nitin and Nitin. So from the both side if you read it, it will be the same. Word like a madam, so madam and madam, right? So such a word when we read from the left hand side or right hand side, it will be the same. So what we have to do is we have to develop a program in Python, and we will check whether a string is palindrome or not. Okay, so immediately we will get started. So first thing that we will do is to accept a string from the user. So I'll just accept a string or a variable name that is name, or I can say any string. Okay, any string is equal to input, and then I will say enter a string. Okay, enter a string. So I have accepted that in a variable that is any string. Okay, now after accepting it, what we will do is now we need to check. So first is I will just take an example. What we exactly need to do is if the word is Nitin. Okay, if the word is Nitin, and as I've told you in my previous tutorial that strings have the index values. If you consider the forward indexing, so we will have Nitin as 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So there are basically 4 characters from 0 to 4. So this is the index value for n. Index value for I is 1. For T it is 2, for I it is 3 and N is 4. So what we will do first thing is we will calculate the length of the string. Now how to calculate the length of any string? It is so simple. We have to use the len, the len function. The len function will return the length of any string. So all I have to do is just use L of s, where s contains a string. So it will return the length of that particular string. Okay, so I have to use this function, and then what I will do is I will divide that length. So for example, if s is Nitin, so it will return 5, since there are 5 characters. And then what I will do is I will divide this length, the number 5, with 2. I will divide it in 2. So I'll get a whole number. If I take that as a whole number, then I will get 2. Okay, so we will only take the real part, means the integer part I mean to say. And so I have 2. So for example, if I really say, okay, any string, that's the variable name of my variable. So this will return, I can collect that in a variable, something called as maybe n. So n will basically have value as 5. Then what I will do is I will divide n by 2 and collect it maybe in I. So I will divide that by 2, and what I will do is I will just take the integer part. So I'll convert that into int. So I will only have the integer part. So if n is 5, 5 divided by 2, I will have 2. So I will have 2 over here. And then what we need to do is we need to compare the index 0 with the index value 4. So this index value 0 and index value 4 should be equal, or should be same, I mean to say the same characters, n. And then I will calculate, then I will compare the index value 1 and index value 3. Even this should be same. and that's it. Okay, so we are going to compare half of this ni and the later part of the string, that is im. So n to n we will compare, so 0 index to 4 index and then 1 index to 3 index value. That is how we are going to check if it is equal or if it is same, which means that the string is palindrome, or else the string is not palindrome. So let us just implement this now. What I will do is, as I said earlier, we will use n is equal to len of any strings. So first thing that I did is calculated the length of the string. So this will return the length. So if it is Nitin, it will n will have 5 because there are 5 characters. And then what I will do is I will use a for loop for I in range. Now this is interesting. I will start from 0 because because the index value starts from 0, so I require a 0 over here. So with the help of this index value I can compare the characters. So 0, and then what I will do is int of n divided by 2. Okay, so this will give me the value if it is Nitin, if the any strings. Oh sorry, I need to, okay fine. So if we have any string as Nitin, I will have 2 over here because I'm dividing that by 2. Okay, and then what I will do is I will check if any string of I, okay, any string of I, if it is not equal to any string of, now I require this 4 index. Now how will I get this 4 index? Okay, and the next time I require the 3 index. So 0 index and 4 index I need to compare. So what I will do is okay, n has the length 5. If it is Nitin, the n will have the value 5, so I will use that n and I will do -1. Okay, n minus 1 and n minus 1, or rather I should say n minus I minus 1. Okay, now this is okay, I'll just explain this. So n will have the value 5, okay, since there are 5 characters, and I will have initial value as 0, so n minus 0, that it remains 5 itself, and again I will do one more -1, so that it brings down to the value 4. So over here it will be 4, over here it will be 0, and over here this will it will calculate the value 4. So I'm comparing 0 to the last character, the last index value, that is 4, and that is n. So if this is not equal to this, if any of this condition goes false, what we will do, if this is not equal to this, okay, what we need to do is immediately we will print the message that the string is not palindrome. The string is not palindrome. Okay, and then what I need to do is use break. We will break this for loop, because if any of the character, if the 0 index is not equal to the 4 index value, or 1 index value, that is I, if it is not equal to the index value 3, then immediately we need to break. We don't need to move forward with that loop, right? So we will break it, and outside the for I will use a else part. If you can remember, in my previous tutorial I have showed you how to use the else part for. So if none of the condition gets satisfied, if if statement never gets satisfied, which means that the string is palindrome. If this is equal to this, right, I'm checking not equal to, but if it is equal to, this condition never gets satisfied. So in that case, what will happen, the for loop will run for all its iterations, and then it will run the else part. So in the else part, simply I will print that the string is palindrome. Okay, is palindrome. Okay, Okay, so now what we will do is, so what we have done over here is, now you can see I will have initial value 0. So, and over here this particular thing had value 2, right? Because it was 5 divided by 2, we converted that into integer, so I will only have the value 2. So it this loop went for two iterations, for 0 and for 1, and this is exactly what we want. We want this to run for by 0 and 1. And over here what happened is, n is 5 and I was initially 0 and this was 1 minus 1, so it was 4. Then when I will become 1 next time, what will happen over this is 5, I is 1 and minus 1, so this will calculate the value 3. 5 minus 1 minus 1, so it will be 3. So we will compare the index value 1 and index value 3, and this is what exactly we want. So this formula is basically working perfectly. Okay, now let us just test this program whether it is right or not. If any logical errors we have, we will just rectify that. Okay, I'll just save this first with test, test.py. okay, test.py. okay, now there is an indentation error that is over here. Okay, this I did not put it under comment, sorry. Okay, over here. Now I will just run this, and now it will ask for a string, so I'll give Nathan, and you can see the string is palindrome. Then let's try one more, that is any string, that is madam, even that is a palindrome. Now some bigger string I will give, something like A B C D, okay, and again C B A, so even this is kind of a palindrome, so here it is, right? So you can give any string, and if I give something like NIT I and I say A, now this N first value, index value 0 is not equal to the last value, right? So we will have the string is not palindrome, right? So this is how the entire program is working. I hope you have understood this. Just try to understand how we are accessing the index value. All we are doing is just accessing the index value. This is the same string, any string variable. So first we are accessing the index value 0, and by this particular little formula we are accessing the index value 4 if the string is Nathan, and then the next index value 1 and the next index value 3. That's it. So this is how the entire program is working. So I hope you have understood it. So you just need to implement it, practice a bit, just learn how to use strings, how it works, and how the index values works. That's it. That's the only thing that you need to understand. Okay, so bye for now.
So if you have liked my video, do subscribe to my channel. There is a subscribe button in front of you. Click it right away. And after that, click on the bell icon so that you can get the regular notifications of my videos. Bye for now.